I'm not actually upset. But there are a number of you on Twitter saying this. Therefore, I figure there are a number of you out there in the listening audience saying this. And we'll reset it and go through all of it because I'm going to help all of the sound that we have. I'm going to use it to help me make a point. Okay? Because a lot of you are doing the whole like, oh gosh, it's clickbait Willard and Dibs time because you're concocting an idea that Klay is going to leave based on the fact that his dad wouldn't answer your question that you wanted him to answer. Almost as if we're doing this out of spite. Let me say this first and foremost. Up front, I don't think Klay is as good as gone. I don't think that at all. Klay might stay. Here is my take. My take is that this afternoon at 5 o'clock, I believe it to be more likely that Klay leaves than I did at 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock, you had it as a near 0% chance. Yes.
Virtual lock. And now we're reading and we're listening. And for every one of you who has said, what's his dad going to say publicly, you dummies? He understands negotiations. He's not dumb enough to put his son's business in a public domain. October 24th, 2023, twitter.com, Michael Thompson, at Champagne and Nuts, for 4 years. Do you think I don't know him? Do you think I don't know the family dynamic? I've been to events with this man. I've been out of the office with this man.
I know this man. I worked with this man.
I text this man. I love that man. He is a phenomenal, phenomenal human being.
Keep it coming. Thank you.
And knows his sons better than anyone. I love this.
Better than our audience?
Oh, you believe that Michael and his son actually talk business? I don't know. Do any of you have kids? Have you ever, not asked them what's going on with their life?
I just had that conversation with my 22-year-old last week.
Ever? Can you imagine talking to him and not asking, hey, heard your contract's up in a week and a half. What's going on? Can you imagine?
We don't talk about that.
Well, does he have a contract somewhere?
My son's up for a promotion, and it was the third thing I asked him in our conversation.
Okay. So there's all that. There's the tweet on October 24th. There's every conversation we've had with this man through the years. Then there's this answer.
I don't really talk to Klay about that because I don't want to put that kind of burden on him or pressure on him or bug him about it. I'm sure he thought about it enough, so he doesn't need to hear that from me. I just want him to have fun today, be in the present, and not worry about it. Just think about the game tonight to try to help get his team into the real playoffs, out of the play-in. So, no, we don't talk about that. I keep that business stuff, that side away from the family.
I want him to have fun. I want him to stay in the present. He used the word tonight. I want him to think only about tonight. Just stay in the moment. It's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like the family talked about that.
And in saying that, when it comes to free agency in July, I just got to keep that in mind. Like, yes, I want to re-sign with the Doves, but I also have to prioritize my mental health and lay out what is important to me at this point in my career. And I know we have so much basketball ahead that I haven't given it much thought, really, because if I start thinking about July 1st, then I'm just doing myself a disservice. I'm not here. I'm not thinking about the Hornets tomorrow and these must-win games this weekend. So for me, it's just about staying present, as simple as that is, staying present. And
staying present, stay present, stay present. Tonight. Stephen A. Smith, as dialed in as anybody in the league.
I'm looking at Klay Thompson, and the number one thing I peel from Ms. Shay is that I think that when you look at Klay Thompson, this is his way of saying goodbye, preparing himself for the end in Golden State. Let me assure you, there's at least 20, 25 teams that should want Klay Thompson. And let me raise my hand. Those New York Knicks should be one of them. Those New York Knicks should be one of them. Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something. You want to see, I'm talking about Klay Thompson, who has struggled with consistency this year. Right. You give me Klay Thompson in New York City. He ain't going to want to, because if he ain't in Golden State, probably want to be in L.A. Can't blame the Southern California sunshine and all that stuff. You understand? But let me tell you something. If Klay Thompson were in a New York Knicks uniform, I would throw a house party.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game. KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. All I'm saying is we're not making crap up out of our Wahoo for clicks. I feel like we have to say this 3 times a year because we don't do that. The thought doesn't really even go through our mind. We have our conversation about what we're having our conversation, and what I'm actually trying to bring everybody through right now is the literal change of my opinion in real time.
Yeah, based on a conversation with his father, who you know very well, and listening to Stephen A., listening to Klay Thompson, and starting to put together small pieces of what might be. And then now you're not saying 100% he's gone. This earlier in the show, you had it at about a 0.1% chance that he would be gone. And you're probably now not even at 10% that he'll be gone. Whatever the number is, I don't think that you're of a mind where you're all set to say goodbye to Klay Thompson.
No, not at all. But what is the biggest thing for me today is when people say, oh, well, Klay's dad's not going to put his business out there. Let me tell you this. I've had conversations with that man about Klay Thompson for years. I've never heard him answer it that way. That's the first time he's ever answered it that way.
Right.
He's never tapped out of the conversation and said, I'm not giving you anything. Never.
And we asked him 4 or 5 different ways about Klay and the Warriors, and Klay with the teammates, and Klay in the Bay, and Klay and his legacy, and playing on one team. And
Tiburon, does he like Tiburon? He wouldn't leave Tiburon, right?
And Michael said he loves the Bay Area. He loves his teammates. He loves his legacy.
He wants to stay, but he wants the right contract.
Right. And you can't fault him for that. And even though he's made a ton of money, and fans all want to look at his career earnings, and somebody even pointed out on the YouTube feed he has a 10-year deal with Anta, making $80 million. I don't know if it's 80 a year or 80 total, but
God, I hope it's not 80 a year. That's crazy.
Well, he's got big endorsements with Anta, so money is not the issue in so much as he needs it to survive. It comes down to, like you were saying earlier, for these pro athletes who have made it this far on self-confidence, ego, and arrogance, to put yourself in a spot where you feel like you're not being respected, even if it's for 2 years and $24 million per year, which every fan out there listening is like, I'll sign up for that. You can disrespect me for $24 million a year.
Right.
It's different when you're dealing with these pro athletes at this level.
He's 34 and he's still going to be wanted. And everybody, no matter what the deal is, wants to be wanted. And the Warriors situation just might not have the right puzzle piece for him going forward. And he may not be the right puzzle piece for them. Yes, we are having this conversation prior to the games actually being played. But there's a decent scenario out there that has the Warriors losing in 8 days. And if they do, ask yourself if Joe Lacob's going to want to be like, run it back.
Right.
Everybody show up for your paychecks. We're handing them out. Let's do that again. 10 seed and 1 game. That was fun. Wasn't even a home game. The hell did I make out of that? He's not going to do that.
Don't think so.
Doesn't seem like him.
It's interesting that the pod got released. Was it yesterday that it came out?
Released yesterday. I think they recorded it last week.
He makes reference to the Hornets tomorrow.
Right.
Which the Hornet game was March 29th. So they must have recorded this on the 28th, Thursday, on the road trip in between the Orlando game and the Charlotte game. And yet Draymond wisely holds it for more impact as we get closer to the end of the year.
So they recorded it like literally the day after Draymond got thrown out.
After the Orlando game. Yeah. Draymond was free. Yeah. They might have done it at halftime. I mean. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Let's take some calls. Let's go to Keenan in San Diego. Hi, Keenan. What are you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just in traffic on the 5. I think Klay is out of here. That sound to me, that is a man that is tired. And I, for the life of me, don't know why Draymond why would you set him up like that? Now national media is talking about it. ESPN, Sirius Satellite Radio, everybody. I think Klay is tired. It's not about the money. And when he said prioritize my mental health, it was like a jab in my chest. Like, damn, I don't think he's coming back, man. I think he is tired. That's my take, barring a run.
I love your take, and I don't think we've talked about this enough. Hey, Keenan, great call. Grandy, which one is it? Because I want to hit the right one. Klay goes like, you can stop it right here. He goes, of course I want to be a Dub, but. Whoa. That's huge. Why would you use the word but after that?
Right.
Of course I want to be a Dub, but.
I got to take care of my mental.
I got to prioritize my mental health. I don't think it's crazy to at least ask the question, are you saying that something about your experience here right now or what the Warriors have to offer you in terms of money or playing time is bad for your mental health?
Yes, and you can see it, and he mentioned it during the answer when he talked about 4 meetings with Steve Kerr. You don't have 4 meetings with your head coach if your mentals are tip-top and everything is hunky and or dory. You have those meetings because you're feeling some kind of way about your role, your hunting shots, your minutes played, your contract, your health, your mortality, all of the above. And for it to take 4 meetings with Steve Kerr, that tells me that he might have been in a deeper hole than any of us would have possibly thought.
Let's hear exactly what he said for everybody who's listening so you know what I'm referencing. This, again, was on the Draymond Green Show via the Volume. Here's where Klay addressed that and said he wanted to stay a Dub.
And in saying that, when it comes to free agency in July, I just got to keep that in mind. Like, yes, I want to re-sign with the Dubs, but I also have to prioritize my mental health and lay out what is important to me at this point in my career. And I know we have so much basketball ahead that I haven't given it much thought, really, because if I start thinking about July 1st, then I'm just doing myself a disservice. I'm not here. I'm not thinking about the Hornets tomorrow and these must-win games this weekend. So for me, it's just about staying present. As simple as that is, staying present. And
of course I want to stay a Dub, but I also have to prioritize my mental health.
Right.
That could have been the word and.
It could have been.
But use the word but.
Of course I want to be a Dub and prioritize my mental health, which would never be better than it is here.
Yeah.
But the but's in there because he's been through a lot. He's been through the highs and the lowest of lows with this organization. And you get to a spot where in December 13th is when the report from Shams comes out about Klay Thompson turning down 2 years and $48 million. So you work through everything you've worked through. You make it to the top of the mountain again. You win your 4th championship with the team. You fight back from 2 career-ending injuries, and you struggle to start the year. And then the contract gets put in front of you for an offer that feels like it's lowball. He's making $43.2 this year. So now they want you to come in and play for 24 next year.
Then they benched you. Don't forget that 3 months ago, that idea was offensive to him. He said it. Ask Kawakami.
Are you going to bench me?
Benching me? That was offensive to him 3 months ago. Then he did it, and he did it well, and so that's great. That's a big feather in his cap. But I don't think it's crazy to think that Klay Thompson, at times this year, has felt offended. I don't think that's crazy at all.
That was February 15th when he came off the bench for the first time.
Okay.
13 of 22, and he put up 35 on Utah.